So let's talk about work-life balance, shall we? I feel like this is such a hot button topic and that not enough people talk about it or are truthful about it. And funny enough, I had this on my schedule to film today, and I saw that yesterday when I'm filming this, that my boy Tim Smoyer, shout out to Tim Schmoyer from Video Creators. He posted a video titled Work Life Balance is Impossible for Creators. Try this instead. But I disagree. I didn't watch the video. So I don't know if he was like, it's impossible, but it's not impossible, which is kind of what I'm going to say. So if I say the same thing, sorry. But I do fully believe that it's possible. And even funnier, and to make this even more meta, I just saw a post this morning, I think, on Facebook. Like one of my friends shared it, and it wasn't their original post. They had like shared this post, and I'm gonna read it to you. I'll pop it across the screen too. But it says the unfortunate truth of owning and running a business. Running a business is really hard. What they don't tell you is that it can cause severe stress and anxiety and drains you mentally to the point of depression in even the most laid back people. People will talk about you, compare you to others, use you. They will view you as a service and not a person anymore. Friends and family will expect discounts, and people will value you and your hard work less than a big chain store. You have to worry about if you forget to email or message or call somebody back. Are they going to think it was on purpose? Did you disappoint them? Will they hold that against you? When in reality, you just can't get to everyone's messages, emails, and phone calls. Starting up and running a successful business puts incredible strain on personal lives and relationships, many of which fail because there is just often no work-life balance. You need to be the director, the worker, the admin, the marketing team, the accountant, the cleaner, all while being a parent, a husband, or a wife, family support, friend. It's one of the hardest things you will try and balance. If you give your time, you will sacrifice financial benefit. If you strive for financial benefit, you will sacrifice your time. It's just the way it goes when your business is relying on you to survive and you're relying on your business to provide. There's a reason you don't see many people succeed in small business after 5 years. If they are successful, they are overwhelmed. It takes a toll. It's freaking exhausting, especially the past couple of years when so much has been out of our control. Here's a small reminder that we are just normal people with hectic lives. Be kind, be patient, support small business, and hopefully more of us will stick around. Now, anytime I see stuff like this, I'm like, but actually that's not how it has to be. And I think that like it's ingrained in our heads, or we have done business in a certain way, or we have done the job we're doing in a certain way where we think that that's true, or we think that the balance can't be achieved, that you have to give up money to have the balance. Actually, one of my good friends owns a business, and I talk about him a lot. I use him as an example a lot, and I'm sorry, but I do. He's okay with it. It's fine. But he has a business here locally and also has two small kids. His wife has a third one on the way, and yeah, like that's his scenario. And a lot of times when I talk to him about scaling his business, doing things that are going to grow the income exponentially, and I don't mean like dabbling here and dabbling there. I'm a big picture person. So I'm like, okay, let's like double your income with less work. Like that would be the goal, right? Anytime I talk to him about it, he's like, yeah, but I don't want to make more money because that means that I will have less time with my family. And I'm here to tell you that that is not true. That is not true at all. You can make more money and have more time with your family. You can make more money and have more time to do the things you love. I am literally like real life proof. Okay. Let me tell you my story. So when I first started my business, I had an infant. I was miserable in corporate. I quit my corporate job. I had an infant. We came home. I had to do something to make money because we couldn't afford for me to stay home. And I jumped into graphic and web design because I had a bit of a background in college with those things. And so that's kind of where the business came from, right? Without going into the full story. And at the beginning, I was just trying to make enough money to like pay for groceries, just like buy some groceries here and there because I just wanted to stay home with my kid, right? But as it grew and as we had a second kid and as things like started progressing and I needed to make more money and I started making more money, I started working so much because that's what I had to do, because I had to work that much to make that money. that I was neglecting my kids. I wasn't neglecting them, but you know what I mean. As a mom, I felt like I was neglecting them. Like, ideally, I would work when they took naps or when they went to bed, but like sometimes naps wouldn't happen when I thought they would, and I would have to work while they were awake, and I would have to put them in front of the TV. And then at one point, my husband was like, "Hey, girl, you're working too much. Like, you're literally never not working." And I was like, you're totally right. And I don't have to be grinding this hard. And what's funny is that, like, if we compare now to that time in my life, like this current moment in time to that moment in time, I was probably that year, I probably made $30,000 that year, I'd say, that I was like working constantly, just really like grinding, grinding, grinding. And by the way, it's hard for me not to work. I love work. I love what I do. So you get it. But I probably made like 30,000 a year that year. And I was just like pushing, pushing, pushing. Didn't have time. Like if somebody was like, "Hey, let's go do this," I was like, "No, I have to work." So you get the picture, right? Now, and for the last several years, I mean, I make a lot more money in my business. I have full-time employees, I have part-time employees and contractors, and I make a lot more money, like in the multiple six-figure realm and trying to hit that $1 million realm, right? I make a lot more money in my business and work so much less and have so much more time with my family. Like, so much more. And so much more to do the things that I love. So take the summer, for instance. I take almost all of the summer off. I mean, I do film a little bit. I do answer like admin questions. I do some things here and there. I basically work about 1 day a week in the summer, but I take most of the summer off. If like I want to take the kids to the pool, I take the kids to the pool. If we want to go on the river, we go to the river. If I don't want to do anything but like lounge around and watch Gilmore Girls, or I just restarted Riverdale because I haven't watched it and I haven't finished it. If I want to do that, I can, right? The myth that the more money you make, the less time you'll have with your family is literally just that. It's a myth. It is not true. Work-life balance is obtainable, but you have to realize a few things. You have to know what your goals are. You have to realize a few things that we're going to talk about, and you have to have some like solid systems in place, which we're going to talk about. So I need to kind of start all of this off by saying that you don't need to look at balance in like a snapshot of 1 day. That balance happens over a week or over a month or over a year. And the best way I know how to explain this is when my kids were little, when my oldest son was little, he was like the pickiest eater ever, and he grew out of it, so it's great. But pickiest eater, and like feeling like I got enough nutrients in this kid's body was very, very hard. I never felt like I was feeding him enough to the point of like him having enough like vegetables or whatever, because he was just so picky. And I remember bringing it up to the doctor, and the doctor saying, "Don't look at it from a day-to-day perspective. Look at it in the perspective of a week or even a month, because then you can see that like, hey, there definitely were some fruits and vegetables in there. Like 1 day he would only eat chicken nuggets, but that's okay because the next day he ate 4 bananas, you know? And if we look at it from a day-to-day perspective, we're going to get hard on ourselves when it comes to work-life balance, because there will be days and seasons where one outweighs the other always. Like right now during the summer, I purposefully let the business go down and the family time go up. Family definitely gets higher priority in the summer. We are definitely sitting up here with the family stuff, right? And the personal life stuff. And then my work is down here. When school starts back, it goes more like this, because my kids are at school all day. Like I don't like I don't feel guilty or feel like I'm not balancing work and life, because they're literally not with me. They're at school all day and work can take precedence. But you have to keep it kind of balanced, because I have my own personal things outside of my family that I want to do that fit into work-life balance, like get a workout in every day or go for walks or whatever the scenario is. But when you look at it on like a teeter-tottering scale, you're going to go through seasons, days, weeks, months, years where one is higher than the other. So if we're looking at like a school day when work is, up here and family or life is, a lower priority because it doesn't have to take as much of my time. Does that make sense? then, if a kid gets sick, it might look more like this, where I cancel some meetings, but I still have to work so that I can take care of my kid. Or there's a day when one of my kids has a field trip and I go with them, and so it looks like this again. So you have to know that it's constantly on this scale, on this like balancing scale, and you're never going to achieve full balance. And balance is not actually having them fully balanced at all times every minute of every day. It's more about having a constant rotation of what takes precedence in a given like time or day or whatever. Because will they ever fully be balanced? Maybe, but probably not. Like there's always going to be something taking precedence over the other, and it's probably always going to look a little bit tipped in one way or the other. But the key here is that it doesn't ever have to feel like one is like totally failing. And I think that's what people get in their head in that post I read you from Facebook. That's what people get is like, if I make more money, if I drive forward, if I build this business, I'm gonna like the family side, which I'm mixing them up now, but this is the work side, this is the family side. The family side is just gonna crash and burn. And that's just not true. You can have like a season where work takes precedence, but your family is not suffering, and vice versa, right? Like I can have this summer season where my family is like the priority, and family time and like fun things are the priority, and work is not going to crash and burn in the ground. Like I'm not losing money this summer. I'm not going to have to like lay off my staff. Like it's not extreme like this, and it shouldn't be extreme. And if you're seeing those extremes, you need to change something. But like, how do you change something, right? How does it not feel like one is crashing if the other one is succeeding, and vice versa? How do you get that more balanced system? And again, I've done this. I have done this a lot and have really worked hard over the last several years to build a business that can continue to grow, employ people, fund the things that I want to do, fund the lifestyle that I want, fund future Jessica and future Jessica's family, while also still having time with my kids and my husband and like whatever else, right? And so there's three main things that I would say that really like shifted this for me, and that if you're feeling like work-life balance is never a thing, that you can kind of do to shift. And really, first things first is to create systems really in both life and work that will like help things run more smoothly. Now, I am not the best at this in the like life arena, but like, we're just going to ignore that. But I'm amazing at this in the business side. And what I mean by this is even before I hired people, even before I had full-time employees, even before all of that, I still had systems set up that were helping me do things in my business that I would normally have had to have been the one doing, but now there's a system helping me out and I'm not taking as much time. Therefore, that extra time can go back to in the family plate, right? And y'all know I love my systems, and y'all know what's coming. You know what's coming. You know what's coming. This video is sponsored by ClickUp because it is literally the system that I use to keep the machine of my business running so that it doesn't crash, or it doesn't make the family side crash or whatever. Now I have 2 more tips, so stick around with me. But like I said, this video is sponsored by ClickUp. And holy moly, does it make my life easier and my business easier by proxy. ClickUp is a project management tool, and it is the favorite one that I have ever used. And if y'all have been around for a while, I've used several. It is my absolute favorite, and it is the way that we completely systematize and streamline the business so that it runs like a well-oiled machine, and it's not just like, going off the rails all the time. One of my favorite features of ClickUp that really fits in with what we're talking about today is their automations. And it's actually one of the reasons I switched to ClickUp over the other thing that I was using, because of the automations that are built in and the things that I can get done that just make life easier and just make the world go round a lot smoother and make that balance happen at a bit more of a level pace. So for instance, the way that you can integrate email with ClickUp is just chef's kiss, okay? So email has always been a beast for me. It has always been a beast for me. And it is actually the first thing that I hired out. Like the very first thing, because I cannot keep up with my email. Hi, I'm Jessica, and I cannot keep up with my email, right? Like that is totally a problem for me. And they have an email integration that allows you to send and receive emails straight within a task. So like, let's say you have a client-based business and you want to send and receive all emails for this particular client attached to the task for them inside of ClickUp. You can freaking do that. It's an automation you can set up and it is amazing. Or let's say you're a creator like I am and you are dealing with sponsors and you want to keep all of the emails for a particular sponsor in a certain task in ClickUp. You can do that. Setting up systems like Gmail with ClickUp to streamline processes and make sure that things are working on autopilot and happening in a way that they should and keeping everything organized releases so much time off the work plate. And again, that extra time can be added to the life plate. So having a system in place or systems in general in place like ClickUp is amazing for the business side and for the family or life side too. You could even use ClickUp, especially on like their free plan, to manage your household. You could use ClickUp to manage like your grocery list, share grocery lists with your family, to manage your like schedule on when you are doing certain things. So maybe you're one of those people who like washes clothes and does laundry on certain days and scrubs their baseboards on certain days or like cleans the toilets on certain days. You could totally manage all of that in a system like ClickUp as well. So you could get that work-life balance literally in a system like ClickUp. If you want to try ClickUp, I have them linked below in the description, or you can go to heyjessica.com/ClickUp to try it now. And thank you, ClickUp, for sponsoring this video. So creating systems to help you balance life and business doesn't have to be an actual system like ClickUp. It could be that you have systems on what time of day you're doing certain things, what time you like close the door and you are out of office mode, what days you're doing certain things. Like creating systems just in your time alone will help a ton. So I know I've told y'all this before, but like I only take calls on Tuesdays. In the summer, I have kind of made this rule for myself that I'm only going to work on Tuesdays. Now, as we get back from our trip, because we were gone for a few weeks and then it took me like a week to readjust, I'm fudging that a little bit, like I'm filming this on a Thursday, but for the most part, like that's kind of the rule. And that means that on a Monday, if I want to run the kids to the pool, we can do that. If I want to go on the river on a random Thursday, I can do that. If I want to say that every Friday we are going to the park, I can do that. And that's going to help streamline things too. A really like actionable example of a system that really isn't like a system, it's more of a system in time, is that I only work while my kids are at school. As soon as they're off of school, I shut it down and I don't work anymore. And so that is my work hours, right? And I'm very strict about that. You know, saying that like at 5 p.m. you're going to stop working. And even if somebody calls you about work, it's okay. It can wait till tomorrow, right? And so many people struggle with that. So many people struggle saying, this is the time I need to work. This is the time I'm off, and never the two shall meet. And honestly, I can't think of a single business where this can't be the case, but you also have to be the one setting the boundary with your clients, your customers, your workers, like whatever the scenario is, so that you can adhere to that. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do to really help like balance this work-life scenario is one of my faves. But I also know that it's one that not everybody can do right now, but you could also put it on like the goal of things that you can do, or one of the goals you want to reach to help you like know of a goal in your business or whatever. And that is to hire help in both arenas, in work and life. Hire someone to come clean your house. So as you know, I live in a small town and we just have a very small pool of people doing something like house cleaning. We have a couple of companies that do it, but they're not very good. And the individuals that I've ever had, like they'll just get tired of it and decide to go do something else. None of them are really running a business. They're usually just like cleaning houses on the side or whatever. And so it's been very hard for me to find consistent help here, but that can be a really, 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 really great way for you to hire help in the life part. Hire somebody to come fold your laundry. Hire somebody to come clean your house. Hire a babysitter to come 2 days a week just for 2 hours a day to give you some work time while you know your kids are being cared for. Get some help in the life arena just as much as you can hire help in the work arena. I don't feel like I have to tell you how you can hire help in the work arena, but hiring a virtual assistant, hiring someone to manage your email, hiring someone to do your graphics, like anything that you need done that's taking a lot of your time that you can hire out, is just more time that you can put back on the plate of life. And the last thing, but not the least thing that you can do if you're like, okay, Jessica, I really need to balance out my work-life situation, is to change your mindset. If you have run a business or you have done something, you've been a creator, you've worked in corporate, whatever, but your mindset is that if I make more money, I have less time with my family. Or if I run this business, then I have to never go to my kids' ball games. Or I am running myself into the ground, but that's just what it takes to run a business. If that is your mindset, you've got to change it. You can do that. You can absolutely do that. I don't know this particular person's scenario that wrote that post on Facebook. I don't know what kind of business they run, but I can really see a lot of industries here where there is no boundaries. They just think they have to do that because that's what they've seen modeled, and it's just not true. So changing your mindset around the fact that life doesn't have to suffer if business is growing and vice versa can be really helpful to you being like, oh yeah, this is totally true. Now I just need to figure out how to make all of that happen. And that could be hiring out, that could be getting systems, that could be taking stuff off your plate that doesn't even need to be there. It could be a lot of things, but changing it up here is really going to help you change it out here. On that note, I am going to stop filming and go fix my children lunch and go eat lunch with my family because I can. And that's the whole point of this video, right? And I'm also going to go change out of this sweatshirt because I have my my light here and it's very, very hot and now I'm dying. So, bye.